This is Grace, Grit, Getting It Done, the podcast for women who want to expand their influence, increase their earnings, and advance in their careers all the way into the C-suite. I'm your host, Lisa Gillette. Let's get started. You know the feeling. You work in a high-pressure, high-stakes environment. You've got a job to do. The pressure is on to do more with less. And senior management doesn't want to hear from you that you can't get it done. You carry the weight of the workplace on your shoulders, and you take it home with you. But somehow you're expected to just relax and let it all go with a face mask and a hot bath. Let's be clear, that's not self-care, that's marketing. Let's look at the data. A 2022 analysis from Business Health Institutes found that women in the workplace are 32% more likely than men to experience high or extreme levels of burnout. A 2023 McKinsey & Company study found that women managers are twice as likely as their male counterparts to be tasked with supporting employee development and the professional development of their employees. And finally, a recent study published by the Journal of Affective Disorders found that burnout is strongly correlated with increased levels of anxiety, irritability, emotional exhaustion, and depression, particularly among women in leadership roles. The data is clear. Burnout doesn't just impact our performance, it can destroy our sense of well-being, our sense of self-worth, and ultimately our mental and physical health. Yet somehow when women hit a wall, the solution we're offered is just take better care of yourself. How, when, and in what reality? My guest today isn't here to spread toxic positivity. She's here to speak the truth. Self-care is not optional and it's not self-indulgent. Self-care is a radical act of self-preservation. Sheri Betts is a certified leadership coach. She's an organizational development expert, and she's the author of the ABCs of Self-Care. Sheri works with high-performing women who look like they're absolutely crushing it, but behind the scenes, they're running on empty. Sheri's approach isn't trendy. It's an A to Z actionable framework built for every woman who's overextended and tired of wearing burnout like a badge of honor. This conversation today is your permission slip to opt out of grind culture. If you're ready to reclaim your time, restore your energy, and finally stop treating burnout like a normal state of being, you are in the right place. Sheri, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So glad to be here.
Oh, I am thrilled. Let's jump right in. Sheri, why do you think self-care is so heavily marketed these days and yet so misunderstood?
Well, there's so many components to that, Lisa. One of the things that I think about is the pandemic.
Yeah.
The pandemic really made us see how important self-care was. So when the world stopped, and people found themselves with more time to reflect on their stress levels, their life, their overall well-being, after experiencing such a slower pace of life, I think people said, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
Yeah, yeah,
And I believe self-care has become this new buzzword for taking care of ourselves, right? You mentioned it in the opening, but let's really talk about what it means for self-care, because most people think it is pampering, getting that facial, getting that massage, and those things are great. Unfortunately, though, self-care is much broader than that. In order to really take good care of yourself, you have to have a self-care mindset.
yeah,
And what I mean by that is you have to do something daily. You have to think about choices you're making on a daily basis. You have to think about being proactive versus reactive. When we think about pampering, we think about, okay, I'm tired. Let me go get a massage.
right,
I'm tired. Oh, let me pamper myself and have this glass of wine.
right.
Or, you know what? I've had a long day. I think I'll get a mani-pedi. So those are short-term fixes,
Mm-hmm.
not a long-term fix. They're short-term, and they are generally more reaction to what's going on for you. So a mindset is basically making choices, deliberate choices for your well-being and happiness. And that means proactively taking action towards your emotional, physical, and emotional health. And I want to emphasize two words, the active part, because we have to do something different,
Correct. Correct.
right? We don't want to keep doing the same thing.
Correct.
We have to do something differently, and we have to protect ourselves like we do our loved ones. If
Exactly.
we, you know, if we thought about protecting ourselves the way we do our loved ones, don't you think we would think about self-care a little differently?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's someone on this call who can relate to that.
Absolutely. What are some of the warning signs of burnout, the really big red flags that become a crisis?
Oh boy. Okay, so one of the signs or one of the definitions of burnout is prolonged, unmanaged stress. Okay,
Exactly.
so think about it. Yeah, think about it. It happens over time. It doesn't happen right away. It
Mhm,
happens over time. So if you think about maybe someone is having trouble setting boundaries at
mhm.
work. You talked about, wanting to succeed and
Right.
excel in our careers. And many women, men, we want to do that. So I would say that struggling to say no to additional responsibilities, or maybe renegotiating deadlines,
Mhm.
or um, maybe just taking on too much at work is one sign. It also could be taking on too much responsibility at home.
Right.
Um, so that happens a lot. Um, we may notice ourselves being emotionally exhausted. You mentioned that as well in the opening, when you just can't go on. You feel like
Hit the
I'm
wall.
done.
Mhm.
You don't feel like scheduling work things. You don't feel like scheduling fun things. You just don't feel like doing anything at all.
Yeah.
So that's another sign. One of the signs I noticed in me, because I'm usually so positive, is I start becoming more negative. I start
Exactly.
complaining. You notice that?
Well, I I
Yeah.
I just I think you make a really valid point that the joy gets bled out, right? There's no
Yes.
joy.
Yes.
And for someone
Yes.
like you who is super positive, your intention is always to help people. There becomes a point where each of us, if we want to help, but we're not running on fuel. I think that was in our conversation earlier, we talked about there's just no energy there. And of course, that's going to cause like anxiety, frustration, depression, boredom in a
Uh,
way, ennui. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. And as you said, our tank is not full; it's on empty.
Right.
And we also will get physical symptoms. So the
Yes.
mind-body connection is real. For anybody who doesn't believe it, it is real. And sometimes you'll get physical symptoms. For me, it's headaches.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's digestion or stomach issues.
Hmm.
I'm working with a client right now who has thyroid issues. And that has also been linked to
Stress.
the
Yeah.
too much stress.
Yeah.
And she's overscheduled and she thinks, oh, it's a genetic issue.
Mm.
However, it's I truly believe, based on all the things that I know she's doing, I believe it's stress as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Why do you think burnout has become almost, well, normalized in a way, but also
Hmm.
glamorized? What is that about? We have to be corporate warriors and always stand and deliver. And also, too, women are held to a higher standard. But why do you think burnout is something that's just so normalized?
Well, I think it's a couple things, Lisa. It's there's so many things playing a part here, because one is that it's seen as like a luxury or an indulgence. So part of it is, like you said, marketing.
Yeah,
The fancy spa and facials, mani pedis. Those things are expensive, for
right,
sure.
right. They make
And they're nice to have and not necessary. So people are thinking, oh, I don't have the money for that, or it's too expensive. But making better choices and having self-care habits doesn't cost anything.
right.
Doesn't cost anything. And I think women, as women, we're socialized to be tired, and that's normal.
Expected. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's expected. Yes, we are socialized to believe that we take on extra responsibilities at work
exactly.
or at home, and we have to do it with a smile.
Right.
And we're basically the everyday superhero in everyone's life.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Lisa, I tell women all the time, take that cape off, let it go,
Yes, thank you.
let it go. We are not superhuman. So I
Um,
think it's part of the culture.
yeah, the expectation. I know that you have a couple of really great things going on, but first, can you just share how listeners can connect with you? What's the easiest way to
Oh,
find you?
sure. I would love for everyone to connect with me on my website at www.abcsofselfcare.com.
Oh, I love that. And I know you've also got a really great gift called the Preventing Burnout Checklist, which I'm definitely getting. And
Yes.
how can listeners take advantage of your gift?
You can go to my website, ABCs of Self-Care / prevent burnout. And you'll
Fantastic.
have an opportunity to sign up for my email list and get that PDF.
Oh, fantastic. So I want to talk to you now really about the turning point for you. What was it that made you realize that this version of self-care, which can look very self-indulgent, like take the hot bath, get the face mask, take the day off. When was it you realized that, we were being sold a bill of goods there?
Well, actually, I realized that I had all of the classic signs of burnout. I that we talked about earlier: emotional exhaustion,
Yeah.
the negativity, the irritability. I was complaining to my coworkers. I was having migraines, not just
Oh,
headaches. I was having migraines.
that's stress.
Yes, and I was stress eating. And at the time, I remember being addicted to this French toast that was made by
Comfort,
this.
comfort food.
That was my comfort food back in the day,
Yeah.
where it was served at a bed and breakfast that I like to attend.
Mhm.
And But I had all the signs that I needed more self-care, but I just kept striving and pushing until I could.
Yeah, until you hit the wall. So what was
Yeah.
it that finally got your attention?
Well, it was actually I was in a situation where I was training for the Avon breast cancer walk.
Oh, well,
And
okay.
yes, remember at the time, this was about 20 years ago,
Mhm.
you walk 60 miles over 3 days, so 20 miles
Right.
a day. And I was training. I was in the best shape of my life because in my mind, as long as I was working out, I was taking care of myself. That was my self-care. I was taking care of myself. And even though I was mentally and emotionally broken,
Mhm.
I was in good physical shape because I was training, 4 times a week. I was walking 15 miles a day. I was in great shape. But 2 days before the walk, I attended a meeting in a wheelchair.
What
Yeah.
happened? What happened?
Yes, I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't believe it. My back gave out. I had a severe migraine,
Mhm.
and I was now broken emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Like, yeah,
So it was the beginning for me, Lisa, of knowing that I needed more self-care.
yeah. Yeah, it's almost for many women, let's just acknowledge, we will make it happen, take care of our kids, take care of the home, take care of our employees, make sure senior management has what they need at our own expense. And it's only when the body shuts down, because our mind will not, and our heart,
Yeah,
our caregiving instincts will not. But it's
absolutely.
finally shuts down that we go, oh, I need to do
No more.
something here. So if you could give your younger self some advice, what would you
Oh boy.
give yourself?
Um, I would love to go back and give my younger self some advice because I would say, love yourself enough to
Mm-hmm.
protect your well-being and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
protect your emotional and physical health like your life depends on it, because
Because
it
it
does.
does.
It really does. I mean, they've connected emotional stress to the six leading causes of death.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so it there is it's truly a mind-body connection, and stress can often explain illnesses that doctors can't explain.
Right.
So that's what I would tell my younger self. One other thing I would say is to watch your wallet. So one of the
Mhm.
self-care habits is letter W, and it's watch your wallet. I would start planning for retirement after my first paycheck.
Yes. Yes.
If I'll tell anyone who will listen, start planning for retirement as soon as you get your first paycheck.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of ideas in that chapter to do that.
Oh, well, this is a great segue to talk about your book. But before we do, please let listeners know how they could take advantage of this great checklist, Preventing Burnout, and how they can reach out to you. Just share that.
Sure, absolutely. I would love for everyone to go to my website at www.abcsofselfcare.com. And if you want the checklist, go to abcsofselfcare.com/, prevent burnout. And you'll be able to download the PDF there.
Yeah, I think for many of us, we know we're inching towards burnout, but to see your checklist and to actually go, yeah, yeah, okay, now let me do something about this. Let me do
Yes.
something. Yeah, so
Yes, I want to give people objective ways to think
yes.
about how they can prevent burnout.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your book because I have to say, I bought it when you first published it. It's been out, what, a couple years now, right?
Yeah, 4 years actually. I
Brilliant.
actually published it during the pandemic.
Yeah, well, and it was so very much needed because, as you
Yes,
mentioned, people were at home and they had a little bit more free time, maybe not a lot because they weren't out driving to work or going
right.
out in the world, and so important. So you actually created an A to Z list of habits and actions and strategies. Just how did you come up with that format? It's so brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. So I wanted it to be easy peasy for everyone to learn self-care habits. Really, that's the bottom line. And I'm a retired CPA, and when I was studying for the exam, I learned the idea of mnemonics as a way to take in a lot of information. And,
Yes.
it's a 3-day exam, so it's a lot of information you're studying. So I ended up thinking in terms of mnemonics a lot so that it could help people remember. And I figured everybody knows their ABCs, right?
Exactly.
So I wanted each letter to represent a self-care habit
Mhm.
and an action you can take in order to create a self-care mindset. So
Mhm.
that's how I came up with it. And then I wanted everyone to focus on their well-being. And so I created the subtitle to create a happy, healthy, and more peaceful life. Who doesn't want that, right?
Exactly. Sign me up, please.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So you've broken it down into 6 areas of self-care. Will you just detail each one?
Yes. So there's mental,
Yeah,
physical,
yeah.
emotional,
Hmm.
practical.
Hmm.
That includes the watch your wallet,
Right.
social, because
Yes.
we're social beings,
Yes.
and then spiritual.
Hmm.
So
So,
those are the 6 areas of self-care, and each of the letters fits into one of those categories.
well, I want to talk about one of my favorite tools because this is something that I talk with my clients about, which is emotional intelligence, really. But you've taken the very first tool, A, act on awareness and acceptance. Talk us through that because, boy, don't we all
Yes.
need more of that. We really do.
Yes. Once we become aware, we beat ourselves up. Like,
Correct.
right, with that negative critical self-talk.
Yes.
Like, why don't you have it together? Why aren't you able to say no more? Why are you so into people pleasing? We start beating ourselves up.
Right.
So I believe, yeah. So once you have awareness, you then have to accept where you are. Be compassionate with yourself.
Yes.
accept where you are.
Yeah.
So then you can take action.
Right.
And if you take action based on that awareness, and after you've accepted it, you're going to have a much better solution. And
Yeah.
in that chapter, I also give a tool that you may be familiar with. Have you heard of the five whys?
Yes, but please share because brilliant. So brilliant to
Yes.
share. Yes.
Yeah, it's something a tool that I use with my coaching clients that are not are having being stuck in awareness. Sometimes you
Hmm.
don't know what you
Yeah,
don't know. And
correct.
so I use this tool to help everyone understand what it is that is the essential problem. So we start with the problem statement, maybe why don't I take better care of myself?
Hmm.
And then we go through the five whys. And this is a quality control tool that's used in organizational development and in other quality initiatives. And we start with this simple tool, ask the five whys. So that is a tool that I highly recommend. You can also do it with your therapist or your coach, and it is a great way to not only get to the root of the issue, but you're going to have a better solution if you know exactly why you're having problems with self-care. So, for example, someone might say, if I'm having trouble with self-care because I don't have time. That might
Exactly.
be the like a quick response. But
Right.
if you do the five whys and work through really why they don't have better self care. It could be going back to a mindset that says, I have to work twice as hard in order to be
Exactly.
successful. So I've got to keep going. I've got to keep striving. So I think the five whys is a great tool to help you in this in understanding what's happening. And you can use it at work too for problems that you're trying to solve.
Mhm. Can we just model that right now for listeners? If I would say to you, if you were my coach, and I mean, I think I need you to be my coach, and I said to you, Sherry, I feel like I can't stop working. Like if I stop working, I'm going to miss a deadline. I'm not going to get this, I made a promise to a client or I made a promise to a colleague. And I just feel, Sherry, like I cannot stop working. I cannot take a break. How would you walk me through the five whys to find out what is really going on in this little brain of mine?
Sure. So I would ask you first. So, Lisa, why do you feel like you can't miss a deadline or you can't stop working? What's really going on there?
Oh my gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint someone.
Ah, okay. So disappointment is something that you care about. So
Yeah.
why do you care about disappointment so much?
Wow, I felt let down by colleagues when I was working in corporate because they made all sorts of promises and then they were always late with deliveries or they forgot or they expected me to do it and didn't communicate that. And I would
Ah,
and I was angry at them
okay. So you saw other people be lack integrity and not get things done, and you didn't like that. So why did it make you so angry?
because I felt like they weren't pulling their weight and they just expected me to do the work instead, even though it wow, this is deep, even though it wasn't my responsibility that somehow I was going to cover for them. Yeah.
Okay. So would you say that you're concerned about being one of those people that you are someone that you don't respect if you miss a deadline?
Well, I'm a very harsh judge of myself, and so I would never want anybody to think that I was someone who was unreliable.
Okay. So let's
Right.
get so that sounds more like the root of the issue is that you're afraid of how you'll be seen
Yeah.
and you don't want to be seen like those people that you were in working with.
Mhm.
So you have to keep working and working and working in order
Right.
to keep up that reputation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that totally. I want to be seen as someone
Yes.
who's reliable and is good. Her word is good. Yes.
Okay, so that's the awareness that we're trying to get to.
Right.
So then we would solve the problem at the at that root issue. And so Lisa, I would ask you, what are some other ways that you can maintain your integrity without having to work too much?
Sheri, you are scaring me. I need to say no more. I,
Ah,
I need to say, oh, that sounds like a great idea, but I'm not available right now. Circle back in 2 months when my time frees up.
yes, that's something very simple. Yes, absolutely. Very
Wow.
good.
Okay, so for
You're
everyone who's listening, the book is The ABCs of Self-Care, and you just got the thumbnail version with my guest, Sheri Betts, who wrote this really awesome book. So let me go back because you mentioned
okay.
something that was so true, where as women, we do tend to overschedule, we tend to put ourselves back of the line. We're always about helping someone else, making sure their needs are met. I know many women will be asked a question, they'll put down what they're doing and they'll give help. So, Sheri, what would you say to a woman who said to you, I just don't have time for self care? You know, I'm sleeping 6 hours a night, I'm eating a meal a day. I've got a lot to do. I don't have time for self care. What would you say?
I I I hear that all the time. So what I say to them is, first of all, busy people make time for the things that are important to them. Have you heard that?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
forgot it. And that's
Yes.
really important.
Yes, because if you and they used to say if you want something done, give it to a busy person,
Exactly.
right? Because they'll make time.
Exactly.
So realizing that self-care is not optional,
Yes.
and I'm hoping that through the conversation we've had today that you realize that it's not self-indulgent. It's something that we have to do for ourselves in order to fill our cup and keep our tank full so that
Right.
we can be more productive,
Right.
right? You can do more if you're clear-headed
Exactly.
and rested. You can get much more done than if
Yeah.
you're burned out and tired.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that people see that it's so important to to nurture yourself and and ask yourself, do you really intentionally want to shorten your life? So
Boy,
that's
that's a
real.
good question. Yeah.
That's really real. But something else that occurs to me is I would say, are you prioritizing the right things in your life?
Mhm.
Americans have an addiction to busyness, Lisa.
Correct. That's so
I don't know if you've noticed it, but that is truly an issue in America, and
Mhm.
especially in corporate America. We
Mhm.
brag about how busy we are, how many
Exactly.
meetings we have,
Exactly.
and it's almost like like you said earlier, a badge of honor to have that. And so I wonder if we're looking at the things that we need to do right, and right the ones that we need to do proactively. So one of my consulting psychologists for the book, I consulted with quite a few psychologists when I was writing the book, and one of them told me that busyness is an addiction to busyness is often avoidance technique.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah.
So people are often avoiding, for example, difficult emotions.
Mhm.
If there was a hard project that they really need to be working on, but they do all this other stuff instead, they
Exactly.
convince themselves that they have to do all this other stuff. Um, they don't take time for rest and recovery
Yeah.
because then they'd have to reflect or be still and think about what's going
Mhm.
on in their life. So
Mhm.
a lot of times we stay busy just to keep our mind occupied.
Exactly.
And I would say to those women who feel like they don't have time for self-care, something that one of my favorite authors, Wayne Dyer,
Yes.
said.
Brilliant. Right.
Remember, he
Yes.
said, "We are human beings, not human doing."
Yeah.
And so I would ask you, if what are you doing? Who do you want to be in order to be the person that's your best self, the person that's your best friend? Who
Mhm.
would you have to be? Who would you have to become in order to be that person? So instead of figuring out you don't have time, think about who you want to be.
Right. And make time for that. Make
Make
time
time for
for
that.
that
And
person.
think about the leader you want to be and make time for that.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, so many words of wisdom. Now, I know that you're working on a special project. Let's talk about that. What's coming up for you?
I'm so excited about that. I'm working on a course right now, an online course to help readers dive deeper into the habits and apply the lessons to their everyday life. It's called How to Be a Badass Without Being Burned Out.
Oh, I love that. Say it again. How to be a badass without being burned out.
Yes, yes, because it's
Fantastic.
possible. It's possible. And it'll focus on practical tips that can help individuals effectively implement self-care strategies in their daily lives, and they don't cost any money.
Oh, that's great. So, in other words, you're doing a training that when people come to it, it's not unrealistic, it's very practical. You use that word. Another word I want to drop here because you are super strategic. I think I used the term an actionable framework, which is what your book is. And so now you've got an online course. Yeah, sign me up. I'm going to be doing that.
Oh, great. I look forward to it.
Definitely going to be doing that. So just share again, what is the easiest way for listeners to get more details about your online course? Could they do that through your website?
Yeah, yeah, sure. They can go to my website, abcsofselfcare.com, and they can sign up for my email list, and that will help me know who's interested.
Oh, fantastic. This has been such an empowering conversation. Let me ask you, Sherry, what is the one message that you really want listeners to take away with?
Oh boy, there's so many messages that I
Buy
am
the
thinking
book.
about.
I'm
I
sorry to
know,
interrupt you,
definitely,
but for everybody listening,
definitely,
just go out and get
definitely.
Sherry's book. It is
I,
brilliant. And then do the online course. I'm sorry to interrupt. What is the one?
yes, no, no, no.
What is
That's
the
quite
one?
all right. I really, it's hard to choose just one. So if you will indulge me, I have three things that I want to
Please.
stress. And that is that stress can kill you. Remember, I talked
Oh,
about it leads, emotional stress is linked to the six leading causes of death. And so I want you to think about balancing stress and recovery. So when
mhm.
you have a very stressful day or you have a very stressful week, plan recovery time. I put notes in my calendar, make no plans on
Yeah.
certain days after I've had a very long week and doing something maybe even on a Saturday. On Sunday, I put make no plans. So balance stress and recovery cycles. I think that's really, really important because complete balance is like a unicorn. It's a fantasy. Complete
Hmm.
work-life balance, not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
balance stress and recovery, stress and recovery. So that's one point. The other one is self-care requires self-love and
Yes.
protection.
Yes.
Protection. You have to protect your mental health. And I say save yourself before you save others.
Yeah.
And we usually try to save other people, but I'm
Right.
saying save yourself first. So
Yeah.
that's number two. Self-care requires self-love and protection. And then number three, this is really important. Asking for help is an act of self-care.
Yes, it is.
Asking for help is an act of self-care. So you may need mentorship, or you may need a coach, or you may need a therapist, you may need a friend to get help. Ask for help. Your spouse may be able to help you. The key is asking for help is an act of self-care. So I hope you will remember those three things because we have to make choices for our lives. And I want you to choose you.
Yeah, exactly. That's so really important. Share one more time. You've got a gift, the Preventing Burnout Checklist. You've got this online course that's coming up, and you've got a book. And for everybody, you can get the book. Just, go to any bookseller and get this book, The ABCs of Self-Care, if you do nothing else after listening. But Sherry's got a gift and she's got an online course. So share one more time how people can reach out to you and connect with you and take advantage of the gift and find out about the online course.
Well, the first thing is to check out my website because I'll definitely update there. The other is to go to my LinkedIn. There's information about me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram at ABCs of Self Care. And you can also email me at info at ABCs of Self Care. So there's quite a few ways that you can get in touch with me. and I look forward to hearing from you. You
And
can
so
also get my book on Target.com as well as Amazon, and all the booksellers can order it as well.
fantastic. So for listeners who are driving or walking or whatever you're doing, check out the show notes. All of Sheri's contacts are there. I found this book through a mutual friend Sheri and I have, and I met Sheri at a organizational event, and then I realized she was the author, and I was like, oh, I've got your book. I need you to sign it for me, Sheri. It really
Yes,
is one of the clearest, most practical, actionable books on self-care. And as I mentioned in the open, Sheri is not saying, oh, just take a hot bath and have a glass of wine, because that can be really nice in the moment, but until you start remembering to treat yourself like your own best friend and take care of yourself and take care of your health and take care of your mental health and set boundaries at work and at home, you are at risk of burnout. And as Sheri mentioned, burnout causes 6 of the leading diseases that can kill us. So self-care is not nice. Self-care is self-help, self-preservation. Sheri, any closing words?
no, one of the things that I love about self-care and the self-love that you need to have self-care is that you really have to choose you and be your own best friend.
Yes.
And I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah,
Choose you, make self-care choices, develop a self-care mindset, and become your own best friend.
that's brilliant. Thank you, Sheri. Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
I This was so wonderful, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. I truly enjoyed having this discussion with you, and I really want everyone to take better care of themselves.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening. This has been Grace, Grit, Getting It Done. I'm your host, Lisa Gillette. If you have questions or you'd like to reach out and be a guest, drop me an email, lisa@bigsky.coach. That's lisa@bigsky.coach. Thanks for listening.